These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey weirdos, I'm Alaina.
I'm Ash.
And this is Morbid right now.
Currently.
Currently, right now. We're here.
Brought to you kind of live, but not at all.
Not at all.
No, it's not.
Not even a little bit.
Pre-recorded.
This is very pre-recorded.
Psych.
It's edited.
Gotcha.
But yeah, hey, what's going on? Everybody's not sick anymore, so hello.
Hey. And guess what? It never happened for me.
It didn't really happen for me either.
You hear that knock? That was me.
That little knock on the wood. Yeah. No, I got a scratchy throat for a few days and that was it.
I had like my throat never even got like scratchy. It was just like, am I gonna get scratchy? Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was like
mine was hanging on the precipice of being a sore throat, but it never was. So
that would be a great book. The Precipice of a Sore Throat.
There's a book I want to write.
There you go.
The Precipice of a Sore Throat. I don't know what it's going to be about. But
a really good short story.
Yeah, there you go.
At JP.
At JP, my brother.
My uncle.
Confuse people more.
Yay.
But I think there's, everybody is clearly still very focused on what's going on with the Gabby Petito investigation. Not a ton of like concrete stuff has happened.
There's a lot of craziness going on. Like
Brian Enton, our boy, is camped.
He's at us there. Live. You know who is coming at us live? Not us. But Brian Enton stays live.
Yeah, he's staying live. In fact, he's going to be going live soon, I think. He just announced. But the only thing that we do know is that, some other people have involved themselves in the investigation. And law enforcement, there was a lot of people posting, they have apps that, and I think actually, speaking of JP, I think he has an app that shows like what kind of aircraft are going over at any given moment.
Like what, like flying, what is that fucking called? Like Delta and like Spirit, what are those called?
Airlines?
Yeah, airlines. What fucking airline it is.
I was like, are we talking about airlines?
No, I knew the word. I just couldn't think of it in the moment.
Yeah, it says whether it's a private airline, whether it's, a private owner of the aircraft, whether it's a law enforcement or news craft or a medical, helicopter or whatever.
It tells you what the fuck is up.
What the fuck's up in the air? Literally, what the fuck is up?
Actually.
And so a lot of people were seeing a lot of activity over Fort DeSoto, I believe it is. I don't live in Florida, so I don't know if that's how you say it. I don't even know if that's a real place. I think it is. Brian Enton told me it
Brian
is.
Enton says it's a real place, so it is.
Yeah, so I think it's at the very tip of Florida, and a lot of people were seeing a ton of activity by a sheriff's helicopter. They seem to be circling last night. So that's a thing that people are posting screenshots of their app for. It's interesting to say the least. There has been a lot of talk about possible activity there. Maybe Brian Laundrie's parents were camping there.
Maybe with Brian Laundrie.
During this whole time period.
Maybe they didn't come out without him. I don't know.
You know who's there, though? Brian Enton.
Yes, Brian Enton
is there. He's going to be going live, so we'll let you know if we find anything else out.
Also, follow Brian Enton.
Honestly, here we are officially Brian Enton's PR people, and I would like you to follow him. We are marketing for him. But
he's like, who are these women?
Yeah, he's like, please stop. But whatever. But that's all we have concrete right now. No one has confirmed to see him. No one has anything else other than that. So everything else is just kind of hearsay. Maybe some of it's true, maybe it's not, but we're not going to share the stuff that's just floating around the internet. But that's all we got that's real.
Exactly. The whole shitty, I'm like, the whole shitty thing about this is that he's a survivalist. So he could be anywhere in like any kind of woods or
it's totally feasible.
Desert. Like he could be, and he had, like this is a head
campground.
start. It's like he could be fucking anywhere.
And where this Fort DeSoto place is, it's a campground.
So hopefully.
So he has also been there with his parents before, according to some sources. So it's very feasible that he could absolutely be out there. Yeah. And I think there's like islands around that area.
Yeah, there is. I saw like the overhead footage. And
it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. So, I mean, let's all cross our fingers that they stay updated. This douche canoe, a la True Crime Garage that insult came from. So thank you for that.
I love that. My dad says
douche canoe.
My dad says douche canoe and he says ass hat.
I love ass hat. That's a great one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All of the above is what he is, really. Let's hope they find him, man. I just want them to. I want to see
him in cuffs.
Footage of him getting carried away,
getting
in a
like
law enforcement vehicle,
arrested,
and then I want to see his parents as well. So yeah, so that's where we are. So we obviously are invested in this case. It's just one that really struck us. We feel like Gabby is one of our own, so we just we want to see justice for her and her family. But yeah, and I think the Gabby Petito Foundation, the link is still active. So if you can and are able to donate to that. But we'll update you whenever we know more.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I have a wild case for you that was actually, so I started doing this and then I was like, I wonder if anybody suggested this. And I popped in our email and it was like super highly requested.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear this.
So this is the case of Ellen Greenberg.
It sounds familiar.
I think once I start kind of getting into it, because I think you'll recognize it maybe because I kind of started to recognize it and I could never pinpoint if I had like seen anything about it before. But
or if it was just like in passing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it. Ellen Greenberg was her parents, Sandy and Joshua Greenberg's only child. And Sandy and Joshua Greenberg, like, I would love for them to be my parents because they just seem like the most wholesome people. They clearly love their daughter with like every fiber of their being. And they're
just rip my heart out.
They're just the best people.
Oh.
Now, because the fact like that she was their only child, they were a super close family. Her mother said that Ellen was a warm, joyful girl who loved to cook, loved fashion. Her father said that she was a daddy's girl and she would go out to different sporting events with him. And her friend said that she lit up a room, she had an infectious smile, and she was that girl that you could call if you needed someone.
Oh,
I know. So she was...
I'm already like, man.
She was clearly like an amazing person, and specifically the part about the infectious smile. When we post the photo of Ellen on our Instagram, she has the most beautiful smile.
Oh, I'm going to look it up
Like,
right now.
beautiful teeth, just like warm eyes. Just like I would, if I saw her, I'd be like, I want to be her friend.
Like her smile reaches her eyes.
It does.
Because you know, sometimes
she
you're like,
smizes and smiles.
it just reaches the eyes. You know it's genuine when it's in the eyes as well.
Exactly. Ellen went to Penn State and she graduated with a degree in communications. And at that time, she thought that she wanted to be a speech pathologist, but which is like a really cool job and takes a lot to get into doing that. But then she ended up deciding that she actually didn't really want to do that. And what she really wanted to do was become a teacher.
Okay.
No one was surprised by that at all because Ellen had always loved kids. She was super good around kids. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh my God, her smile, by
She
the
has
way.
a gorgeous smile.
It literally just like blinded me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
So genuine.
And just seems like you would want to be her friend,
yeah,
right?
you're just like, let's hang.
Like you want to get like dinner? Like let's just be
get dinner,
friends.
let's watch something
Let's go
together.
to TGI Fridays and
Let's
like
go to
talk
TGI
about
Fridays.
life.
Ugh.
You know, but to make her dream a reality of becoming a teacher, she went back to school at Temple University and she got her teaching degree. When she was finished with that, she started working as a first grade teacher, and everyone said like that job was made for her.
And again, I say, special kind of person that can be a teacher. All you teachers out there, high fives.
High five to all of you.
High tens, high everything.
Because
damn,
seriously, like kids are a lot, and especially younger kids.
that age is tough.
That it's a super tough
Like
age.
trust, even just doing homework with my kindergartners, I'm like, oh, your teachers are special.
I can
Like, you're
attest to
special
that
people.
because sometimes I help and then sometimes I gotta check out.
Tough times. So teachers, A+.
High five.
So Ellen, A+.
Yeah, seriously. Ellen also had a boyfriend named Sam Goldberg. They had met through a mutual friend in 2008, and that friend thought they would be great for each other. So she was like, you got to go on a blind date. They did. They super duper hit it off, like definitely had a great time, and continued dating for about 3 years. About 3 years into the relationship, they did like a couple's trip to California, just the two of them. And Sam ended up popping the question on a beach, and Ellen said yes.
Aww.
There's like this really like super cute picture of her on the beach, like flashing her ring, probably right after it happened. She's very, like all very wholesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is really just setting me up to be like, man.
Yeah. Now they set the date and plan to marry in August of 2011. So with all the wedding planning and the stressful job of being a teacher, especially like we were just saying to younger kids, Ellen was talking to some of the people she was closest to, specifically about her anxiety. She was telling her friends and family that she was just feeling overwhelmed, especially at school, and she was having like some trouble sleeping. No one was like overly concerned about her mental health in the regard that they thought she was going to harm herself, but people were concerned enough to encourage her to reach out for some help. So Ellen agreed. She was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And she started seeing a psychiatrist. She only went to see that psychiatrist, who was named Ellen Berman, about 3 times, and she was prescribed Klonopin and Ambien. She had previously been prescribed Zoloft, but that didn't end up working out.
Okay.
And then she switched to these two, and those were the only medicines that she was on.
Okay.
Now, both of those drugs do have side effects, including suicidal thoughts, but Dr. Berman had made a note in Ellen's file that she didn't find her to be suicidal. Like literally right in the file there said not suicidal.
Yeah. And I would assume that before prescribing things that could possibly like dredge up those thoughts, that you're evaluated.
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
extensively.
Yeah, and there was like a couple like different notes in her file, and she clearly had been evaluated. And everyone agreed that Ellen was stressed, but they all said like in a way it was good stress. Like it was about her job and it was about her wedding. It wasn't about anything like earth shattering. You know?
Well, it's like stress for like things that are moving you forward,
like day-to-day things.
Yeah,
exactly. Now, one thing that Ellen's father did notice and find concerning was that all of a sudden she was having a hard time making decisions, and a lot of times she would like go to her fiance Sam or say, oh, I'll have to check in with Sam and see what Sam thinks. Like, I don't know, let me talk to Sam. And he was just like, that wasn't really like her. And then when she started getting this kind of anxiety coming on, that became more prominent.
she was kind of defaulting
Definitely to Sam. Now, interestingly enough, when Ellen was really going through it with her anxiety, I believe it was before she had gone to her psychiatrist, she actually reached out to her parents about moving back home. She was living with Sam in Philadelphia, and her parents lived about 2 hours away in Harrisburg. And they were pretty shocked by this. They were like a little bit concerned because they thought her relationship seemed to be like a loving, caring one. And they said of Sam that he was a fine young man. And she was like, no, it doesn't have anything to do with Sam. I'm just overwhelmed. And like, I think I need to get away.
Okay.
And, you know, going back home is like a good...
Yeah, it's like a reset button.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Exactly. So that was kind of when they pushed her, and especially her dad was like, you should go see a psychiatrist. Like, you need to get some help.
Yeah, just to kind of like bring everything into perspective.
Yeah. And she had been texting like friends, and she had texted her mom after she went on Klonopin and Ambien and said that the Klonopin and the Ambien itself were helping. Like, she was feeling better. So on January 26, 2011, it was already a snowy day and a blizzard was right around the corner. That morning, Ellen went to work at school, but that day the school was having an early release because of all the snow. So she finished up at school and she was heading back to the apartment. She filled up her gas tank on the way home, which you should always do during a snowstorm, my friends.
You should.
You gotta have that gas or your gas line's gonna freeze.
Just ask my dad.
I literally wrote, just ask Papa.
There you go.
But so she did that, and then it seemed like she went back home and got into some wedding planning. Not too long before this day, she had sent out the save the dates for her and Sam's wedding. Okay. But there was still a lot of work to do. I haven't gotten married. I don't know all that goes into it, but I'm sure you can attest to the endless amount of work.
A lot of work.
I remember watching you do all the work, and I was like, ooh, you need help? And you were like, no, I have it.
And I was like, no, control freak.
No, I'm a Capricorn. I don't need help.
I don't need any help with anything.
But Ellen...
Still that way.
Ellen, yeah, right. Ellen was doing the work and figuring out the wedding. And during this time, she was like texting with her friends. She had talked to her mom on the phone. Sounded like a pretty typical, like, snowy afternoon. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Sounds great, to be honest.
Yeah, it really...
Sitting there, doing some wedding stuff, talking to friends and family.
Snowing outside.
Like, snowing outside.
Yeah. And at some point, Sam had come home and headed out to the gym, which was, like, in their apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
Like, in the property. Unfortunately, later that day, 27-year-old Ellen Greenberg was found dead on her kitchen floor. Her fiance, Sam, was the one who discovered her body when he was finally able to gain entry to the apartment. So like I said, earlier that evening, Sam had gone to the gym, but when he came back home, the apartment door was locked. Now, he had a lock for, like, the lock on the doorknob, but the apartment had the extra security feature that, like, a lot of hotels have.
Like
that kind
latch.
of, like, swing bar, I think it's called. It was on the top of the door. It's, like, got that little ball that stops the door from opening. So that bar was locked and Sam couldn't get in because there's no way to unlock that from the outside, or is there? Anyways.
Oh.
He texted Ellen and he started like yelling into the apartment for her, which neighbors did confirm hearing, but he wasn't getting any answer and he was starting to get like more and more irritated. So he first texted her and said, hello. And then he texted, open the door. Then, what are you doing? Then, I'm getting pissed. Then, hello. Then, you better have an excuse. Then, what the fuck? Then, then you have no idea. So the last one...
You have no idea?
Right. So the last one to me was super weird because you can look at that in like a couple ways. I think the first being like, you have no idea what's going to happen when I come through this door because I'm super pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Or maybe like...
You have no idea how pissed off I am.
You have no idea how pissed off I am. Or like, you have no idea that I'm even locked out. Like, oh, fuck, you have no idea. Like...
Oh, that one rings pretty...
Yeah.
After all of that, like going over and over, like, what the fuck, come on.
And then kind of realizing it.
And then being like, you have no idea.
Yeah, like maybe she was like taking a nap or like in the shower. Because I can definitely tell you, like, I've gotten locked out of my apartment before, like haven't brought my fob down and like been texting Drew and he hasn't seen it and vice versa. And we've been like, you don't even know that I'm down here. Like, please look at your fucking phone.
Please look at your phone.
So you could look at that either way.
100%.
Now, after texting her a bunch and yelling into the apartment, Sam went to find a security guard thinking that maybe they could help him get in the apartment. Like maybe they had some kind of tool to open that lock.
Yeah.
But he was told like they didn't have any kind of tool like that and they couldn't do that. Now, the security guard later said that for someone who had been at the gym, he didn't look like it. He was not in gym attire and he was wearing boots. But on the same hand, maybe he changed before going back to the house and it was snowing.
Well,
so he put his boots on.
It's snowing.
Right. So that's not like super weird, but they did want to point it out.
Okay.
And the other thing was he didn't have far to go though, like on the other hand. So like, why would he change
Like,
if
would
he was
you
just going
change?
home? But it's snowing, so
Yeah, you can really see both sides of that.
you can. But the guard also mentioned that Sam made it a point multiple times to say that he had been at the gym. So could be weird. Maybe he was just fucking panicked because he couldn't get in his house. Like,
Yeah,
telling
this
the
is
story
like
a lot.
truly one of those things where you're like, I can 100% argue both sides of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of those cases
You
lately, I
have.
feel.
You're stressing me out.
I'm
'cause
really
like,
just
I have
devil's
no idea.
advocating.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing it on purpose.
You
I'm
might
kidding.
feel like you are.
I'm not. But finally, Sam made his way back to the apartment without the security guard. He later told police that he had the guard with him at this point because, according to him, he was able to break the lock with force. The security guard later told the police that he never left his post.
Huh.
So that was like weird.
That one's a weird one.
That one's weird. I don't really see both sides of that.
Don't know how to argue another side of that.
Nor do I, but maybe you do, listener. So he was able to finally get in the apartment. And once he got in, that's obviously when he saw Ellen. She was sitting in an upright position, slouched over in front of the lower kitchen cabinets. Sam's initial response was not to call 911. He actually made 2 phone calls first. One was allegedly to his uncle, who happened to be pretty well connected in the judicial system. And
Okay.
And then the other was his parents. So they were already on the way there when Sam called the police at 6:33 p.m. It had been an hour since he started trying to get into the apartment.
Wow.
So the 911 operator told Sam that he should perform CPR until the EMTs and the ambulance got there, and that they would walk him through it over the phone.
Okay.
His response to that was, "Do I have to?" Can't.
Okay.
Like, I guess you would I mean, she's probably like covered in blood at this point. He's probably freaked out and is assuming
Yeah.
in his head that she's dead, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to say.
I'm just going strictly off of me.
And
I
what
don't
you would
know
do
how
if you saw
anyone
John
else
in that
would react
position.
in this. If that was John, I would be doing everything I could to revive him. And it would not deter me whatsoever.
No,
Whatever.
and that's me too
But again,
with Drew.
me.
Right. And
I'm not
again,
going to say everybody listening or everybody around the world would do the same thing.
and we've never been in that situation, so sometimes your brain does weird shit.
Yeah.
Still
Strange to me.
Still worth
I'm
noting.
going to say it from my point of view, that's strange.
exactly.
But it doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty.
anything.
I'm just
Right.
saying it's strange.
Right. I'm
That's all.
just saying.
I'm just saying it's strange.
This part of the show is brought to you by Anua, the Korean skincare brand known for scientific, gentle, yet effective formulations. The latest from Anua is the Retinol Collagen Gua Sha Cream, a firming cream with a gua sha-shaped tip built right in. Have you guys heard of gua sha? It's that viral massage tool that moves fluid and tension out of your face. Less puffiness, a snatched jawline, honey, more definition in your face. Retinol firms and reduces fine lines, and collagen keeps your skin plump and structured. This cream has both of those things, arguably the most optimal combo for that snatched, lifted look all in one step. I am obsessed with the Gua Sha cream. First of all, it feels so cool to the touch. When you put that on your face, it's just like, this is lovely. It's like a little spa treatment that you can give yourself. I like to do mine at night after I get out of the shower. I rub the cream on my face with the little gua sha. I'm sculpting that jawline, honey. I got it on the cheekbones. And actually, I had a facial the other day, and the lady doing my facial, the professional, she said, "Do you use a gua sha at home?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "How did you know that?" And she said, "I didn't have those little like bumps in my chin or like different areas like that." So she could tell that I was using the gua sha. And I said, "Oh my God." I just feel like I wake up less puffy in the morning when I do it the night before. But you can do it whenever you want to. I, 10 out of 10, recommend this product. The Anua Gua Sha Cream value set is available at anua.com, already discounted. Use code MORBID for an extra 10% off. That's ANUA.com, code MORBID. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think, or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Now, it was when he got closer to Ellen's body and he was still on the phone with the operator, he realized that there was still a knife stabbed into her chest and it had been left there.
Oh my God.
Yes. When he told the operator, they told him not to do CPR. Like, at that point, I think it would have interfered with something.
Well, you never want to pull the knife out.
Right. So Sam's father was the one to call Ellen's parents and told them that something terrible had happened to Ellie, which I was like, ruin me. When her mother, Sandy, heard what had happened, she said, "All I know is my world went dark and I have no daughter." And then also to add on to that, they were 2 hours away from Ellen's apartment and they were snowed in because of the blizzard.
Oh my God.
So this is just your worst nightmare as a parent.
That's horrible.
Like, snowed in, you can't do anything. And at this point,
hours away,
they don't even know exactly what's happened.
Oh, that's terrible.
So
I can feel the helplessness there. Oh,
yeah, it's horrible. So in total, Ellen had been stabbed approximately 20 times.
What?
The stab wounds were in her chest, stomach, neck, and head.
Oh,
yes. And so she had been stabbed 10 times between the neck and the head alone. And a lot of them were in the back of her neck and head.
Oh my God.
2 of the wounds went directly into her brain. On the right side of her body, the medical team found 11 bruises in, quote, various stages of resolution, specifically on her abdomen, arm, and leg. They said the bruises could have come from some kind of physical activity, like a sport, like a contact sport, from her maybe bumping into things, or could have come from a closed fist. They said it could have been any of those things.
Man.
Yeah. But the various forms of
healing
resolution was weird to me. And Ellen didn't play any kind of sport where
I
she
was
would have
just gonna
gotten
ask
bruised.
if she played contact
In
sports.
the areas where they were, like, bumping into that many things, I don't know. And just the fact that they were all in different healing stages said a lot to me. And I'll leave it at that. They also made note that there were no defensive wounds suffered, and that would later become a huge point in this case. Ellen was pronounced dead on the scene at 6:40 p.m.
Oh, man.
There was no suicide note left at the scene, but almost immediately, the investigators on scene looked at this death like a suicide.
I'm sorry, what? She was stabbed in the back of her neck and head?
20 times overall, 10 of those being to her neck and head.
One that went literally through her skull into her brain.
Like,
correctly.
literally into her brain.
Okay.
Yep. So
that's interesting.
Oh, this is going to be even, you're going to be infuriated by the end of this. And actually, a lot of people that wrote in requesting this were like, I need to hear Alaina's expertise when we get to the autopsy report, which I found. So we'll talk about it.
Oh, man.
It was even written in the report before any autopsy was completed or a medical examiner even laid a finger on her that they thought this was suicide.
No.
That's not even allowed.
Honeys, no. You let the body speak.
Right.
The body speaks for you. That person speaks for that. Like, you don't know.
You don't just assume because it makes an ass out of you and me and everybody in Philadelphia.
Especially when there's no suicide note. There's no clear indication. It's like, No.
What?
No.
Right. So the main
No.
reasons that they thought this was a suicide was because the fact that there was no forced entry into the house and the door had been locked on from the inside. Like, remember the hotel bar lock?
Yeah.
Ellen and Sam's apartment was on the 6th floor, so it would have been really hard for someone to gain entry through their back balcony. And just to be sure, they checked the snow for prints and they didn't find any.
Okay.
Again, no defensive wounds on the body, so that was another reason they looked at it like this. They checked.
I mean, I have thoughts, but I'm not going to say.
They checked the security cameras from the apartment's lobby, and there were no suspicious people in or out of the apartment that didn't live there. Unfortunately, though, there weren't cameras in the hallway leading to Ellen's apartment. Come on. So they couldn't look at that. But one of the main things that was even later mentioned on the autopsy was Ellen's history of anxiety.
Okay.
Anxiety, not like anything else. The investigators believed that because she was on the medicine she was at the time of her death, and by the way, those were the only drugs found in her system. Nothing else was found. But they believed that because she was on those 2 drugs when she died, that those are the 2 things that could have caused this suicide.
Literally nothing about this rings as a suicide to me.
Literally 20 times she was stabbed.
And in the head and neck, the back of the head and the back of the neck.
Yeah. So Sam's story about being at the gym did line up. They were able to check his key fob records, and they confirmed where and how many times he had used that key fob, and everything was like he said.
Okay.
He was interviewed by the police. They said that he was cooperative and he was let go. Then later down the line, he didn't really like talk about it, and he got an attorney.
Okay.
But
which
that's your right, and that's a smart thing to do.
I was just going to say, and is very recommended in that situation. And the fact that he talked first.
Yeah, he talked first.
Yeah.
So Ellen's 2 medications were then taken in as evidence, which is really bizarre to me.
Weird as fuck to me.
Now, on the contrary, looking at suicide among females, stabbing oneself to death is extremely rare, especially amongst females.
Absolutely.
Generally, when women commit suicide, they don't choose a violent way. They'll use drugs or like carbon monoxide or something like that.
It's like on the other side of the coin, women tend to be poisoners.
Yes,
You know,
like when they're killing.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the other thing is, and this is among men and women, when someone does stab themselves, it's more likely that they lift up their clothes. Ellen's stab wounds went through her shirt. And I actually didn't know that before.
I was going to say, that's interesting.
Yeah. There was also a half-made bowl of fruit salad on the counter, and it looked like whoever was making it was in the middle of preparing it. The other thing was, like, just to look on the things that she had to look forward to. Number 1, the wedding, obviously.
Yeah.
She had just sent out her save the dates.
Sam just filled her tank of gas.
Just filled her tank of gas. Yep, that's actually why I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Sam's birthday was coming up, and she had already made reservations at a restaurant and talked to a friend about what gift she wanted to get him. Her mother, Sandy, had been visiting her 2 weeks before and said everything was status quo other than the fact that Ellen was like feeling stressed about the wedding and her work. And on top of all of that, like I said in the beginning, her psychiatrist had written on her file that they did not believe her to be suicidal. Dr. Berman had asked Ellen about her relationship and any abuse, and Ellen said nothing like that was going on. That's like a question they have to ask.
Of course.
And the doctor even noted that she smiled when she talked about Sam.
And you know, and it's like, and of course, all of this is not to say that somebody can be planning things and be doing things that seem like they are moving forward and planning on future events and still have like a moment of, you know,
I can't go on.
Yeah, it's of course that's not to say. I just feel like this seems like,
well, the manner in which this happened.
Well, it's
and who she
nothing
was
here is lining up
no
neatly with suicide. It's nothing.
And just
about
that
this
snap
says that to me.
decision, like
the middle of making a fruit salad. It's I don't
right.
like what happened.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
This is like wild.
It is, and it only gets more wild. Please just wait. So let's get into the autopsy, ma'am.
Yes, please.
An autopsy was completed the next day on January 27th, 2011, by the assistant medical examiner. They concluded that the manner of death was homicide.
Yeah,
They noted,
I'm not shocked.
Yes, they noted, and this is directly from the autopsy, multiple stab wounds to the chest, abdomen, and back of the neck. A knife with a 12.5 centimeter blade is present in one of the chest wounds at a depth of 10 centimeters, which is translates into 4 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is an incised wound to the right occipital scalp. So there was like a slash to the right occipital scalp. Now, so at that point, the police were to go back to the scene and reinvestigate this as a homicide. Yet 2 days later, they came back and told reporters that they were still leaning towards suicide.
What?
It does not ever happen that the police publicly speak out about a medical examiner's findings. It like
that honestly
literally
like annoys me. Like I'm annoyed right now.
Yeah, everyone was.
Like the medical examiner, the assistant medical examiner did a fucking autopsy.
Did an entire autopsy like that they clearly are trained to do
on something that pretty readily looks like a homicide from the outside.
The knife was inserted into her chest and obviously was the last blow after all of those stab wounds. And again, it was approximately 20. And that was the final one, inserted 4 inches into her chest after stabbing herself that many times.
The force it would take.
And we will get into that.
And you got to remember, I think people forget, you have a fucking chest plate. You have a chest plate. It's not easy. Trust me. It's not easy to get through that chest plate with your own force.
Right.
And in that angle, like I'm making the motion right now, the angle it would take would leave you with very little leverage to get through that chest plate.
Yup.
That far in?
Yup.
And you'd
4
probably
inches.
immediately puncture your lung, which is going to fuck with your ability to do really anything else at that point.
Right.
Your strength is going to be depleted completely.
And her lungs were punctured.
Yeah, that
You can, if you want to, you can pull up the autopsy while I'm talking.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, because this is like really shocking to me. Like,
yeah,
really shocking.
It's bananas. So the police were still focusing on Ellen's history of anxiety, and they were also able to determine that the only DNA on the knife was Ellen's own DNA.
Okay.
Which also, but it's her kitchen.
I was
knife.
just gonna say it's
not that weird.
Yeah, because if somebody was wearing a glove.
Correct. Which like many people do when they commit heinous crimes.
Exactly.
Now, eventually, one of the detectives on the case, I believe his name was John McNamee, he came up with the idea to hire a neuropathologist who could test a piece of Ellen's spinal cord to see if it had been severed or not.
Huh.
If it hadn't been, then she still could have inflicted the wounds to the rest of her body.
For sure.
Right? So the help of Dr. Lucy Rauch, I believe is how you say it. She was a neuropathologist. A well-respected one at that. Her help was enlisted. She came to the conclusion after examining that the spinal cord was not severed, but it was punctured.
Oh, okay.
So in her opinion, Ellen would have gone numb and been able to inflict the rest of the stab wounds.
I was going to say because that's like from what I'm seeing in the autopsy report, it's like the cervical spinal cord was
C2 and what was it, C3 and C5?
Where is it?
I think it was C3 and C5.
I think you're right. C2 and C3.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Those are generally the most severe if you get a spinal cord injury in the cervical vertebrae.
Okay.
They're the ones that often result in like paraplegia.
Right.
And any kind of paralysis of anything.
And that makes sense because they're the closest to your brain.
They're the closest to your brain. And they can also flank, like there's the whole like C5 stay alive. Anything below the C5 is going to keep you alive. Anything above it has a tendency to be more severe because it can affect the nerves that like flank your lungs and flank your diaphragm and control your breathing. And it can get like really hairy from there. So if those were punctured, then there's like a possibility she would be numb and at least feel some kind of paralysis. Because I don't know if like any nerves were severed near there. I don't think it says
it wasn't listed in the autopsy if any nerves were severed.
It is an interesting note that it was punctured and not severed.
But it's I don't have the education that you do in this field, but would it be crazy to say that like that would be like very unheard of that she could then stab herself that many times after having her part of her spinal cord be punctured?
That's the thing to me. It's like spinal cord injuries in general are just very severe and tough to work through right away. And it's like, of course, is it an impossibility? No, but it's, is it improbable?
Yes.
Yeah. Like and also it's going to cause numbness. It's going to cause some sensation issues in your arms as well. Like anything below that. So it's like your arms are going to be affected by it.
Right.
And also that's just like really deep to stab someone, is to be able to sever or to puncture the spinal cord. You're going hard and deep.
Right. And
so
to your back of your neck.
Well, think
of that angle, yielding a knife, and that just seems, to me, that seems bananas.
To me, it makes absolutely no sense that she did this to herself.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's wild to me to believe that she did this to herself. Seriously, it really is.
I agree.
And I think the medical examiners agree. So
yeah,
it seems.
Well,
funny
you should say
that they at least put it as a homicide.
So yes, so they, and that's the thing, seeing that, like, you would have seen that and been like, oh fuck, homicide, I'm sure.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. 3 months after the medical examiner had originally listed Ellen's death as a homicide, they changed that manner of death to suicide.
Just saw that on there.
3 months after. A note about Dr. Lucy Rourke's findings was added to the autopsy report. I believe it's on page 3 or 4 if my photographic memory serves me well. Now, Ellen's family does not and really has no reason to believe that she committed suicide. So they made it their fucking mission to find out what happened here. They were able to get the autopsy report. That's why we have access to it. And they were able to get crime scene photos. So they hired former Attorney General Walter Cohen as their lawyer, and they also hired Detective Tom Brennan, who has worked on over 800 homicide cases.
Yeah, I knew that name. I was going to say.
And also worked as chief of the Dauphin County Detectives, and they hired both of those people to work on the case. Now, one of the first people they talked to when they decided to take Ellen's case into their own hands was Dr. Cyril H. Wecht.
Heyo!
One of the most famous pathologists of all time.
That's right.
We've mentioned him on the JonBenet Ramsey episodes and the Smiley Face Killer episodes, and probably way more than that.
Cyril.
And now, in Dr. Wecht's opinion, Ellen's death is, quote, strongly suspicious of a homicide.
Yeah, I'm with Cyril.
He also said, I don't understand how they wrote this off as a suicide.
Thank you, Cyril. I'm with you.
Yeah. He specifically noted the wounds to the back of her neck.
Yes, that's literally what I'm looking at right now. And I'm like,
yes.
I don't understand you guys.
No. Now, that was in 2012. In 2017, the family spoke with another pathologist, Dr. Wayne K. Ross, and Dr. Ross focused in on the stab wound that penetrated Ellen's brain and said, an injury like that would lead Ellen to have severe pain, cranial nerve dysfunction, and traumatic brain signs.
Yes.
As well as numbness, tingling, and irregular heartbeat.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about how doctors in this field, especially this field, tend to be cautious about going against the findings of a fellow doctor. Mm-hmm. This statement almost went completely against the one that Dr. Lucy Rourke made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, while we're on the topic of spinal cords and Dr. Lucy Rourke, it turns out that there was another piece of Ellen's spinal cord that was still at the medical examiner's office. Just hanging.
Just hanging.
And this was like years later that they found it. Former homicide prosecutor Guy DeAndrea had a ton of questions about this case, and while searching for the answers, he was the one to find that remaining piece of spinal cord. I believe this was around 6 years after Ellen had been killed, let's say.
And there was no consent for them to keep that piece of spinal cord?
That I do not know the answer to.
Because that is something that can happen if consent is given.
I'm not sure.
To take a piece of a spinal cord and keep it.
One of the things that Ellen's parents said was that they didn't really get spoken to a lot by anybody in the process.
That's very interesting.
But I don't know if they gave consent or not, so I'm not going to speak to that. But I said that I'm not going to speak to that. Like I'm in court or something. Now, Tom Brennan was able to get the other neuropathologist, Dr. Wayne K. Ross, to take a look at that piece of spinal cord. And after the piece was examined, it was determined that it had not only been pierced, but severed.
I was wondering that.
So
if that would turn out to be true.
So then the family tried to refute the original neuropathology report made by Dr. Lucy Rourke. And at that point, they were told no one could find it.
No one could find it?
No one could find her report. And when they did get into contact with her, they were told she had no bill for that examination. And she also wrote to them, quote, I would conclude that I did not see the specimen in question, although there is a remote possibility that it was shown to me.
So she's basically like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Perhaps. And she also wrote,
possibly.
However, I have no recollection of such a case. You don't remember that case?
You got to do some brain games if you don't remember that case.
Also, Your name is in the autopsy report.
Sure
so
is.
they should probably take that the fuck out if you don't remember doing it.
You spoke on it. Like,
she
what do you mean
basically
you don't
said,
remember it?
maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like, that's essentially what that translates into.
wow.
I would conclude that I
Wow.
did not see the specimen in question, although there is a remote possibility that it was shown to me.
Okay.
Okay. Weird.
Okay.
Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply.
Now, another question that not only Guy DeAndrea had, but Tom Brennan as well, was about the blood flow that they saw in the crime scene photos. Ellen was sitting upright against the cabinets in the photo that they both described seeing, and they both described this same line of blood that went from the bottom of her nostril to the back of her ear horizontally. Yeah. DeAndrea points out
a way of sitting
that defies gravity.
It certainly does.
There's no way that your
just
blood
gonna
flows
say.
horizontally. Because of gravity, your blood flows down.
Sure does.
So had she been in that position when she was bleeding,
It would have gone down.
would have gone
to
down.
her mouth.
Right. Now, in addition to that, both he and Tom Brennan were surprised at the lack of blood at the scene. All of the areas where the stab wounds were inflicted, especially the head, are areas that bleed a shit ton. Like, there's so many, like, arteries, as obviously as you know. Your neck, like, what?
But from what I saw, there was a stab wound to the aortic arch.
There was.
Like, that's a big blood flow.
Yup. But they said, no, there wasn't a lot of blood at the scene. And Tom Brennan also noted that there was a towel near Ellen's left hand that literally had no blood on it. None. Not a drop in the photo. Weird. How would that be possible?
No, it's definitely weird.
Both of them agree, DeAndrea and Brennan agree, that the crime scene was staged. Now, in addition to that, one of the detectives, Scott Eelman, I believe is how you say it, he reviewed the scene later. He said there was a trail of blood that would have been consistent with the body being moved in the photos.
How is what?
I have no idea.
How is this happening so late that everyone's like, oh, look at all this evidence
Because in the
that we
beginning,
just didn't look at?
because they didn't treat it as a crime scene.
That's
Immediately
wild
they
to
walked in
me.
there and were like, suicide.
That's
So
seriously wild.
nothing was really taken into custody other than her medication, which she had for anxiety purposes.
I cannot.
Now, Henry Lee, he actually testified for the defense during the OJ trial. He looked at the crime scene photos showing where Ellen had been found and said, quote, "The number and types of wounds and bloodstain patterns observed are consistent with a homicide scene."
Yeah.
Duh. No luminol testing was done to see if there was any blood that could have been cleaned up. So this scene could have been fucking scoured.
Oh, for sure it could have.
And I didn't know anything about the time of death or anything like that because she was just pronounced dead on scene. So it's really interesting to me that everyone else who's looking at this that's not on this police force is like, yeah, this is a homicide. But they literally walked into a woman who had been stabbed 20 times and they were like, oh, suicide.
And it's like, yeah, and I just can't get past the stabbing in the back of the head and the neck. It just doesn't.
It just doesn't make any sense. And especially like you were saying, the final stab wound to the chest, that the knife was inserted 4 inches into her chest.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right?
That's really wild to me.
Now, Tom Brennan and everybody else in the world probably believes that Ellen Green was murdered in what he calls a blitz attack, meaning that someone came up behind her and incapacitated her almost immediately, which would make sense when you see that her spinal cord was severed. Immediately, she would have gone numb, tingly, and would be consistent with the lack of defense wounds.
Yep, because she wouldn't have been able to fight back.
So they were
and
sitting
if she's
there.
got a ton of bruises on one side of her body. Boom.
Boom. They're sitting there saying that she committed suicide because there's no defense wounds. Her spinal cord was severed. That's why there's no defense wounds, because she didn't have any time to fight back.
And again, any spinal cord injury is going to incapacitate you in some way.
Almost
it doesn't mean you are
immediately,
paralyzed, but it means you're going to be fucked up. It's not going to be an easy, you can just fight back as hard as possible.
Right.
It's going to mess you up a little bit.
Exactly. And not only that, she was also punctured in the brain twice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that can cause seizure activity.
All of that together, hemorrhaging in the brain,
this is just
And then the other thing is, remember the half-made fruit salad on the counter?
Yeah.
He was she could have been preparing the food when somebody attacked her from behind her. And that's exactly what that scene says to you.
Yeah, it sure does.
And the neuropathologist that he worked with, Dr. Ross, also found evidence of scratch marks and fingernail marks near her throat, as well as a hemorrhage near her throat that would have been indicative of manual strangulation.
This is very infuriating.
Yeah.
This is infuriating.
I felt like I was a crazy person.
To me, someone got away with murder here.
Not even
Very
to you,
clearly.
somebody got away with murder.
Very clearly.
Period.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the locked door, because that is interesting. How did somebody get in? In the beginning, I was like, honey, they can.
Yeah.
So Sam said that he had been able to break into the apartment basically just by using force. Brennan reviewed the photos from the scene and saw that the lock was still intact except for one screw. So basically he bumped out one screw and was able to get in. He believed that if Sam had really used force to open the door, the entire lock would have come off out of the door. Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say I can't speak to that.
I have no idea. But one of the reasons why the death is listed as a suicide was the fact that the door was locked from the inside. So they were like, no one could have gotten in and killed Ellen and slipped out back into the hall. Well, both DeAndrea and Brennan pointed out that you can just YouTube how to open that kind of swing back lock from the outside, and there's plenty of ways to do it. I watched 3 videos on it. In one video, they tied a string to the top and bottom of the lock, and then you can pull the ends outside of the string and it unlocks the door perfectly. Wow. It pulls the string back so that the ball hinge doesn't get in the way and you can open the door easily.
Huh.
There was another way where they used a rubber band and they did a similar kind of thing where they tied it around the top and the bottom and then they stuck the rest of the rubber band to the wall with duct tape and then pulled the door and could do it easily. And then I found another video where they literally just used a do not disturb sign and pressed it up against the wall and kind of closed the door, kept pressing, and eventually they got into the hotel room. So they're really not a secure lock. If you have one of those, maybe now think about getting a different one. Because the amount of videos, I only watched 3 on YouTube and I'll link them. The amount of videos on how to open one of these locks from the outside is terrifying.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
But I don't know if we should link them to give people that's
Yeah, maybe we won't link them.
Like,
Maybe if you want to look at that, like, go ahead. But
go ahead and find it. But like, yeah. But so if somebody left the apartment, how would they put that lock back on?
You could still use the string mechanism to do the same thing and
to lock it back.
Yeah, to lock it back. But then I guess the question would be,
because that's my question, is like, how do you lock it from the outside?
But the thing was it ever locked from the outside? We don't know because he broke down the door.
That's the thing. We're just going off of Sam's
Yeah. So
story.
actually, I don't know, because realistically, if you did, the string would be left there.
That's true.
But was that ever really locked? I don't know.
That's true.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Not me. Now, Ellen's parents filed a request to see if they could get access to her file. That request was denied.
What?
The police commissioner's office did allow them to go in and review the paperwork in her file.
It's their child.
But so they were allowed to go in and review the file. But the downside to that was that it had to be just them, and they couldn't make copies of anything or call their lawyers while they were there to help explain anything noted. So essentially, it was a huge waste of their time.
Because if they can't understand something, it's like...
Well, and like even reading that autopsy was difficult for me. That's like a different language. Like,
of course.
It's a totally different language.
So you're just going in there being like, I hope I get this? I don't know.
So they went in and they were like, we didn't know what anything meant.
Yeah.
Like, why would we?
Of course not.
Which was incredibly frustrating. They've tried to have Ellen's case reopened, especially after they've gone to these multiple experts and were told, most of this evidence is indicative of homicide, but their requests have been denied time and time again. The Attorney General released a statement saying that the investigation they had done was a thorough one, and to further cement that this was a case of suicide, they referenced Ellen's laptop and said that there were searches for the terms including suicide methods, painless suicide, and quick suicide methods. Now, they said that the report was made by the Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory and given to the police on April 1st, 2011. However, and you will see it in the autopsy, the family had been told originally that no such terms were found on Ellen's laptop, and there was no note of that in the report. And you can see right in front of you, the autopsy says analysis of the decedent's laptop. The decedent's laptop provided no additional information. Says that right there.
And it's like, that would have been in bold letters.
It
right
literally
there,
says
on that autopsy
right
report.
there.
Yeah, no.
So when they were questioned about this, the Attorney General said that his office wasn't the one to find it. So, quote, "We cannot say if anyone, police or prosecutor, ever looked at it."
What's happening?
Yeah. So
what's going on over there?
On October 15th, 2019, Ellen's parents filed a civil lawsuit against the medical examiner Marlon Osborne and the Philadelphia County Medical Examiner's Office with the ultimate goal of having suicide removed from their daughter's cause of death.
As they should.
And replaced with at least undetermined or homicide.
I was just going to say, at the very least,
they said that. They were like, if you want to put undetermined, go off. But we do not
certainly
want our daughter's, like, cause of death going down as suicide when that's not clearly not what happened.
Yeah, that's just like false.
Yeah,
that's literally made up.
And they were like, it's just ridiculous.
No, that's outrageous.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Their attorney Joe Pedraza stated, quote, "Under Pennsylvania law, the determination and the manner of death is always open to reconsideration based on new evidence, and in this case, you can see there's considerable new evidence."
Yeah.
There is in fact new evidence as recent as 2021.
What?
Now,
give it to me.
Oh, honey, just fucking wait for this. Joe Pedraza says that there's new forensic evidence that proves Ellen could not have stabbed herself 20 times. So they were able to use a process called, I might fuck this up, photogrammetry, I believe is how you say it. It's the art and science of extracting 3D information from photographs. So in this case, they were able to do this with Ellen's wounds and how the knife would have entered each one. What the evidence shows is that it would have been, quote, very improbable for Ellen to wound herself like they say she did from behind because she wouldn't have been able to use the force necessary. Which is what you've been saying this whole time.
Yes, it's the leverage thing and the force that you would need.
It doesn't make any sense.
The physics doesn't make sense here.
No.
Like, you need a certain amount of, like, leverage to do that.
Right.
No, it just, and immediately I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That slash to her right occipital is like not common in suicides at all. So that was strange in and of itself. Now, are you ready for the best part?
I'm actually looking at the photos of that like test that they did.
It's very interesting, right?
That slash?
Yeah.
No.
And the other thing is the angle at which some of those entered is from an upright angle.
Yeah, it sure is.
Her father was like, I don't care if you're triple jointed. You wouldn't have done, like, you can't do that. You can go this, but like, I wish you guys could see us right now. We're like swinging our arms. It's not fucking possible.
And the amount of stab wounds, like we're going to have to like,
we can post
these
that
photos because it's true. When you see it in black and white, you're like, what the fuck?
There's
How
literally
are they
no
saying
way
that she did this to herself? Because also it's like, one even would be shocking to do it at that angle. But
and then
after
you're incapacitating yourself.
That's after you've done one or two. To be able to do more after that with that force doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever. And then to finish all of those and then have that one be the last one in her chest? No, it makes no sense.
No.
This is crazy. So they also had a forensic evaluation done on Ellen's computer themselves, like the family. They had it done on the hard drive, and they say it proves that Ellen never made searches for anything related to suicide. So those are fucking bullshit. And you can tell they're bullshit when they were like, yeah, I didn't write the report. I didn't see it.
That's what I love. I love that they're all just passing the fucking buck. Like even the assistant medical examiner there, like Lucy, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
For her to be like, I just don't remember.
She was the neuropathologist.
The neuropathologist. She's just sitting there being like, I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
not.
Remember. Maybe some just figure it out. I don't know. Like everyone's just passing.
And then it was like, I don't have a bill associated with that. I'm like, yeah, because you probably did someone a fucking favor.
Well, it's like, what the fuck, guys? What's happening?
The fact that they also did a forensic evaluation on her computer's hard drive and it came back with none of those search terms.
No.
Like, what?
No.
So the evidence was said to have been submitted to the Attorney General in January of this year. The Attorney General released a statement saying, "Our hearts go out to the Greenberg family on the anniversary of Ellen's traumatic death. At the urging of the family and following a conflict referral from the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office in 2018, our office reviewed the case and conducted an extensive investigation that did not uncover evidence to change the medical examiner's finding of suicide. There is no statute of limitation on homicide, however, and if any new evidence is brought forward, we believe it should be reviewed with the proper authorities. At this time, no such information has been shared with our office." That's not true because they literally got that.
No.
They got the evidence that Joe Pedraza gave them.
I'm not into it, guys.
So the attorney, Joe Pedraza, plans to bring this case to trial at some point this year to prove that the manner of death was a fucking homicide.
Hell yes.
And there is a change.org petition for Ellen's case to be reopened, and it has more than 27,000 signatures.
Oh, we got to share that
I was going to say, I will link it in the show notes for anyone interested.
I am on board.
Now, some people do believe that Sam Goldberg's family ties may have led to some kind of cover-up. His uncle may have been the person he called to the scene before he called the police, is a judge, and sits as the chair of the Ethics and Professional Responsibility Group. He was also appointed by the governor to the Court of Judicial Discipline in 2018. I'm not saying that Sam Goldberg was involved in any way, shape, or form. I'm simply just reporting what other people believe to be potentially true.
Okay.
He does have a criminal record in Arizona. A lot of the violations are just traffic violations and one charge of providing liquor to minors. And he was also evicted by one of his landlords while he was living in Arizona. The landlord tried to bring 9 civil judgments against him.
Okay.
Which is interesting, just worth noting. These days, Sam is married with children and he's living somewhere else. I'm not even going to say where he lives because that's not fair.
Yeah, and there's nothing violent in that past.
There's nothing violent in that. She sat there and told her psychiatrist.
I was just going to say the psychiatrist said she seemed genuinely happy talking about him.
I think the only reason why people think that is because he has family involved in the judicial system, which
and because he was the only other person around at
exactly,
the time,
and there was
or that we know of.
And there was nobody on the camera or anything like that. So I think people always think like the husband did.
I was just going to say I get why people are questioning.
Yeah,
but it to me it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
To me, there's just not enough. I can't sit there and say that I believe that we could even question that.
But I wonder what she was so stressed about, and the fact that there was bruises of like various healing points. I'm like, was somebody else hurting her?
Yeah, I don't know, because then I look on the other side and I'm like, I have like a history of anemia, and I bruise like a grape.
But all specifically to the
sometimes I'll
right
find
side
them.
of her body, and there was 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking.
It's
It
a high
definitely
number.
is.
But
it's
then
also
you have
just-
to look at both sides.
Yeah, because there's times, there's been times where we're like, where the fuck did this bruise come from?
Alaina had a bruise on her
my
neck,
neck.
the other day when we were recording, and I was like, pause. And she's like, what? I'm like, what the fuck is on your neck?
And I'm like,
it was
"What?"
a huge bruise.
Yeah, and I was like, I genuinely don't know where that came from.
So it does happen.
So
Because she could have been anemic.
but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is that Ellen Greenberg did not kill herself.
No, that is what I know.
That is fact.
Somebody
as far
did
as I'm
that.
concerned.
As far as
Now-
somebody did that.
Just to finish this off, and really great timing because the rain is starting
There's
to
a
fucking
torrential
pour. I don't know
downpour
if
now.
you can hear that. But Ellen's family plans to continue their fight for justice.
Good.
And in the hopes that someday they'll learn what really happened to their daughter.
We're
Her
with you, man.
Seriously. Her father said, as long as she's in your mind, she's still there. And her mother said, when I think of her, I have to think of her during life and the gift that she was to us.
Oh, that just hurts my heart.
So
Oh my God, I want to help these people.
sign that petition
Yeah.
because she was not murdered.
No.
Excuse me, she did not commit suicide.
No,
she was murdered.
She was murdered, and that family deserves to have fucking justice.
Peace.
That's wild that they haven't been able to.
And this is just like another form of just like torturing them.
of course it is. They have somebody's walking around who did this.
So I hope we have some kind of update because the attorney did plan to bring it to trial later this year.
Yeah, we got to have
This year's almost over. Let's go.
Come on, guys, let's make this happen because this is like infuriating.
I told you, I got to Alaina's house
Ooh.
this morning and I was like, you're going to be pissed when I give my case today.
and I was like, don't tell me anything. I don't
And I
want
was
to
like,
know.
okay, it's going to be really hard though. Can we go upstairs and record?
Oh my God, I'm infuriated.
It's insane. It's
So-
insane. And you guys are going to be even more infuriated when you see the picture we were talking about.
Oh, when you see it right in front of you, you're like, no,
Like,
no,
literally
I don't know
no.
how anybody thinks that's possible.
No.
No.
Well, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
Keep
it
weird. But not so weird that you walk into a crime scene and you're like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at any of the evidence that's sitting right here in front of me. Like, even though that's my job, is I think it was suicide. Gotta go by.
Yeah, don't do that.
fucking do that.
Let the scene speak to you. Let the body speak to you.
Keep it that weird.
If you are professional, of course.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. From roof repair to emergency plumbing and more, when you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find a pro for your project at Angie.com.
Talk about regrets. We all know someone who's been in a car accident and said, I don't need to call a lawyer, only to regret it after their pain and damages were worse than expected. When someone hurts you, you deserve to be compensated fairly. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, fighting for the people for over 35 years. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast. Their fee is free unless they win.